Welcome back to This Week. I'm pleased to be joined by the mayor of this great city, the Honorable Freddie O'Connell, who just this week delivered your first State of Metro address, the city's 61st State of Metro address at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Welcome.
Well, thanks, Bob.
Nice
Good to be back with you.
Busy 7 months.
It has been quite busy.
So you are a fairgrounds kid. Went to the fair there, worked in the flea market. I'm a big flea market fan. If you can't find a deal, you're not looking. So you know the history of the fairgrounds.
Yeah, very much so. Really started going at a young age, and again had that teenage experience, then coming back to Nashville, the number of state fairs, and now the Nashville Fair. So it's such an interesting place, even with everything that happens now, and especially being able to go to Nashville SC games as the newest feature.
And nice job dancing around the elephant in the room with no big announcements for the fairgrounds, but yet proudly proclaiming it is home to the Nashville Fair, a vibrant expo center, Geodis Park, the soccer-specific stadium, affordable housing soon, and yes, racing for 120 years.
All of those things are there, and I mean, I've experienced everything from the Speedway to the Expo Center to the actual fairgrounds to Geodis. I mean, and that was one of the points is it is such an interesting place, and people do want to be there, and it still draws a big crowd.
It sure does.
And so you got to be able to make sure you got sidewalks for the people that live in the area. You got to, make sure that you've got transit access, all that stuff.
I like the conclusion to your speech. You said, so there you have it. We've done 4 big things in the past months. The East Bank, a transportation improvement program, a buy stuff budget, and a do stuff budget. Let's talk about mass transit.
Yeah.
Nashville, as you would agree, is decade and a half probably behind this. Your plan, $3.1 billion. Choose how you move, focused on sidewalk, signals, service, safety.
Right.
86 miles of upgraded sidewalks, that's a lot. 54 miles of upgraded corridor for faster transit service. 24/7, 365 transit system. No excuse not to get a ride. Upgraded corridors. 12 community transit centers, 17 new park and ride facilities, 35 miles of upgraded bicycle facilities, and maybe the biggest, 600 traffic signal upgrades. I'm going to say it's not sexy, but it is very connective.
All of those things, if we get started early next year, if voters approve this November and we are able to get started early next year, you'll see some of that stuff come online in year 1, more in year 2, more in year 3. We didn't want to be we didn't want to be in a place where we were waiting a decade to see anything happen. We wanted to be in a place where another neighborhood would see some sidewalk. I mean, it's amazing as we work through this, that 86 miles, that's enough sidewalk to get you to Cookeville and back, right? And so it's quite a bit in a city that's 526 square miles. That signal upgrade, though, is the biggest. It's not just shinier LED signals or something. These are network signals that will actually know where the traffic is. Right. NDOT has been working, and this is something that actually Mayor Cooper initiated, the idea of a traffic management center, and we want to build all that in so that not only just here in Nashville, but we're connected into TDOT, regional partners, so that this surge of sort of rush hour traffic is managed more effectively. These special event moments like Preds games, Nashville SC games, Titans games, concerts, CMA Fest is coming up. We want all of these things to be less of a snarl for Nashvillians.
I know one of the things that we talked about the last time you were here is the access to the airport, a dedicated route to the airport, which will be a great event, and it will lead to one of these or more of these 17 transit centers. So when you come directly from the airport to maybe right where the new stadium is, it would be fantastic, obviously, for people who live in Nashville, and great for tourists who want to go and then cross the river into Broadway. That
airport link has so many advantages. We've got potentially 3 different community transit centers. You've already identified really 2 of them. One could potentially be at the Global Mall site, which has a lot of public land now. Another could be right there on the East Bank. That's something that we brought up in the East Bank conversation. And then the Convention Center and WeGo have already been talking about land that we also own south of Broadway, so that you don't have to send buses across Broadway in the thick of traffic. And so if you're coming in from the airport and you're able to get to that Southeast Community Transit Center, have really easy access. Again, those network traffic signals that the vehicles can speak with. So it's, if your bus is behind schedule, you can tell the light to stay green a little longer. So there's some really great technology in this program too.
If approved, any idea on timelines when we might see a transit center in East Nashville or on the East Bank or coming out of the airport?
Yeah, I think we've looked at some provisional timelines. A few of them are in the document. We definitely want to get a jump start on Murfreesboro. Right now today, it is already the heaviest ridden route in WeGo's system. We also know that traffic southeast on that I-24 corridor is tough, and so TDOT's been working on some of that. Vanderbilt's got a smart corridor program underway. But we know we've got some more planning work to do at the Global Mall site. The East Bank is now underway with a developer agreement approved by council a few weeks ago. So we think we'd probably start with that where we know that traffic and ridership is already quite high.
The public number, $3.1 billion roughly, is what we're looking at. It may change. Half a cent sales tax increase as the dedicated funding.
Right.
Some state money, a lot of federal money from the infrastructure plan. Will it cover the expenses?
Absolutely. The best part about this is the state law sort of, while it gives you a bunch of constraints and parameters, it also means that there aren't going to be a lot of surprises. We have to go have the comptroller approve sort of the accounting principles and the overall finance plan, and then that goes and gets independently audited. The auditors came back just yesterday, in fact, a few minutes before the State of Metro address, and said, this is clear, you've got a clean audit. So now our next step will be to take it to the Metro Council and ask them to put it on the ballot for voters.
Council seems on board. I think you're going to get approval there. There doesn't seem to be yet any organized opposition as there was to the last referendum. How do you convince voters this is a necessity?
I think what we've seen is voters already understand the need, and I think it's our job to demonstrate what we will all get for that investment. I mean, if you walked into Kroger today and spent $50, if this were approved, you'd throw a quarter in the jar, and we'd use that to give you that 24/7, 365 transit service. That 86 miles of sidewalk is pretty extraordinary. If we continued even on the relatively modest trend we've been on of adding about 6 miles of sidewalk a year, this would let us complete the entire priority sidewalks network. The traffic signal upgrades would be almost 2/3 of our entire traffic grid would be modernized, networked, and help traffic move more efficiently. So I think it's just making sure that enough people understand what's in the program as they go to the ballot box in November.
This is a big start to a mass transit program, and even this big start, once in place, is going to change a lot of transportation issues here in Nashville. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, stay with us. Our discussion continues when This Week continues.